there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
We're operating in an area where there are people that would like to do us harm.
Any other indicators of Iranian naval activity? Captain Roger, also the wise captain, bring the ship to action stations.
Action stations, action stations. Ship company, brace for shot.
We're looking for terrorists. That's number one. We're looking for any activity, contraband that they're moving to raise funds. But on a broader scale, there's a lot of piracy going on in this particular area. It's turned out to be pretty lucrative for those that are operating out of Somalia. And so, we've got to try and deter that, minimize it to the extent we can. There's dangers associated with being at sea. The sea is a tough taskmaster. The weather can be pretty bad, but we're also operating in an area where there are people that would like to do us harm. They'll try and do us harm in choke points. They'll try and do us harm in harbor. They would do us harm anywhere if they could. So yeah, we have to watch out for that. Calgary is a Halifax-class frigate, a general-purpose frigate. So it's truly a workhorse. They'll be out there every day, working hard, doing boarding operations, hails, looking for contacts.
They're stationary by system.
Fishing vessel.
We're here to increase regional stability and reassure people who conduct their local activities at sea from Pakistan, Iran, Oman or further afield if it's fishing or what have you, so that we can share with them why it is that we're here and help them to understand that, you know, if they can share information about the normal patterns of life in this region, you know, we can help to keep the body of water open and support the free movement of trade. Which is fine, and if they express any concern during the approach, we'll stop the approach. Weapons and the movement of people who are directly related to terrorism. If we can prevent that, then we are having a direct impact in support of our operations in Afghanistan, trying to stabilize that country and provide a secure environment where our folks can help with the nation building there. There's always a legal basis for conducting a boarding, first and foremost. Once we determine why it is that we're going to conduct this boarding, I'll have the boarding officer up here. He will brief me on intended tactics and how he intends to conduct the boarding. And then I'll get the entire boarding party together and brief them on the rules of engagement and give them my specific instructions to conduct the operation.
Any other indicators of Iranian naval activity?
Nothing else, sir.
Okay, yeah, continue to watch in that direction and let me know if there's any changes.
Aye, sir.
Working our way through the languages again. If we don't have any success, okay, so this appears to be a Pakistani fishing dhow. He's about 4 miles outside of Iranian territorial waters. He is also being set by the ocean current towards their waters. So the intention will be to send away the boarding party. We will not go aboard the dhow unless there are any other suspicious indicators, but we are going to make an approach and exchange information with them. Try, just work your way through the languages, please, XO, and see if he waves or responds.
On the corporate right now.
عشرة 2.2 شمال. هذا قوات التحالف تناديك على قناة 16. هل تسمعني أجل؟
Foral combat.
2 شمال. هذا قوات التحالف تناديك على قناة 16. هل تسمعني أجل؟
They just unfurled an Iranian flag now?
Did they?
They've done this before.
Territorial waters, so candidates for pro shops.
Okay. So he switched from Pakistani to Iranian.
I gather. He's still got what I see as the Pakistani, but it's just green.
Okay. So we'll still do the approach and exchange information with him and see what he has to say. Yeah, it's
typical tactic.
yeah, that's fine. It's completely non-escalatory. It's simply an exchange of information, and if they don't want to do so, that's fine. No problem. We will withdraw and carry on. All right. Any besides what we've seen in the last few minutes? Anything unusual? Okay. Boarding officer, what I want you to do is to conduct an approach. I do not want you to go aboard the vessel, even if invited, okay? Stay in the rib, all right, so we're ready to recover quickly if we need to for any reason. We've got the same issue with
Okay. Yeah.
6 hours first.
They also go through a process of environmental acclimatization, which means being outside, working in the hot climate, working with all of their protective equipment on, and adjusting to the environment that they're going to be doing their business. And then it's up to me to get the ship into a position, find a vessel that we're either going to approach to share information with and ask them for information, or actually conduct a boarding.
Okay, team, we have another pair of fishermen. We'll make the approach, we'll exchange information, expect no hostility, and you retain the inherent right of self-defense. All right? If I get any indications of Iranian naval activity to the northeast, you'll be recalled and we'll recover you and the rib, and then we'll open to the south. We are in international waters. We're 4 miles outside of territorial waters, so we have sufficient time and sea room to do this. Okay? Any questions?
Up lift. On the guardrail. 6 hours. 8-round magazine, load and be ready.
We want to find out about the routine of the ship we're visiting, find out any routines in the local area, and generally we're just checking on the welfare, the well-being, and what they think of the coalition, and how they feel about the coalition, and basically find out any intelligence if they know anything suspicious in the area, mainly about due to smuggling, piracy, and things like that, and just to find out what the general maritime picture is going to be in the area.
Okay, second man's on ladder.
It's very, very hard to know what is happening in the region if you don't understand what is going on in the region. And we all come here with our perceptions. The challenge is to come at it with not the focus or the lenses that we come to with Western ideas, but know what the people here are all about so that we understand what they're doing.
Up ladder!
The biggest thing we do about these boardings is we go and we try to find out and establish patterns and look for something that may not fit that pattern or mold, and then go to the next step if it's required.
As for the
Master's name? Kareem. Ask him if it's okay. Could we come alongside? Okay.
They approached cautiously to watch for any indications of, that they weren't happy with our presence there, but that wasn't the case. So the boat made his approach, and then they verbally exchanged information in the fellow's language, which really does a lot to boost confidence.
You're speaking Urdu, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have several linguists in the ship's company. My executive officer speaks some Arabic and Hindi, and one of the members of my boarding party speaks Urdu and Hindi and Arabic and English.
They said they're from Chabar.
Chabar? Iranian? The master, he was very busy. He was more engaged in mending his nets, but we talked to the engineer. Their primary language was Farsi, but we have a member on our team, Asim Mufti. He speaks Urdu fluently, and we're talking to them in Urdu.
Take pictures of the stuff on deck. What was the name again? Al Shura?
Suraj, Al Suraj, which means...
How do you spell that?
S-U-R...
Yep.
Suraj, R-A-J. S-U-R-A-J, Suraj. Which means the sun.
The sun?
Yeah.
That's the name of the ship?
That's the name of the ship.
Can you ask them if they know anything suspicious in the area? If they're willing to tell us something?
Okay. यहाँ पे जो कोई ऐसा जो कश्ती आपको मालूम है जो आदमी या चरस वगैरह ऊपर नीचे लेकर जाते हैं ये नहीं मालूम by themselves.
Mother is South 1, over.
नहीं भरा है आधा टंकी है आज हम लोग को दो दिन हो गया है अच्छा so the hold is half full they're going to keep fishing until the hold is full and then they'll go back.
Okay, how far out did you normally come?
अब कितना दूर आएंगे आपके घर से समंदर कितना दूर आएंगे आप 40 मील 20 मील 20 kilometers 25 kilometers takes half a day.
Alpha 1, I confirm those packages are actually just styrofoam floats for the nets, over.
तो ये ऊपर पानी के ऊपर से आपको मालूम हो गया हाँ जी अच्छा बहुत ठीक है हाँ ठीक ठाक हाँ सही है yeah that's what they are for floats for the nets हम लेगा नहीं सिर्फ दिखाएगा they want to show us the fish that they caught because बहुत शुक्रिया
Okay. want to pass on to the captain from our captain. Captain very much appreciates him letting us come alongside, talk to him, and exchange information. And hope to see him later on. And have a safe trip.
अच्छा जी कप्तान साहब, हमारा कप्तान से आपको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। उसने बोला है कि आपको बताने के लिए अगर आपको कोई खिदमत चाहिए तो हमको बताना। हमारा जहाज 335
Guy in the black.
चैनल 16
watch, gold watch. Take a good
अच्छा जी,
picture of him.
चैनल 16 पे हमको बुलाओ और हम आपके खिदमत में आपके
All right, tell him thanks very much, and we're heading back. Okay?
अच्छा साहब, हम लोग अभी इजाज़त दे दीजिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका।
Alpha One, copy
खुदा
over.
आपके साथ रहे। अल्लाह अकबर।
Allah Akbar.
अल्लाह अकबर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Make room for the ladder. Okay, we just got back from both the two dhows there, sir. The two dhows. Each of the masters own their own. They're on a fleet of their own. They have the two ships, the two dhows. They're both from the same village. They come up from Chabahar, normally 10 days out, and then back in for 2 days. They're going to head back in about 3 or 4 days. They said their holds are about half full. Flags, Iranian flags. The green flag we've seen earlier, it was just a signal saying that they have nets in the water and they don't want anybody crossing ahead.
Okay.
And they were
white
both
flag?
Iranian. The green.
Yeah, but they also flew a white flag, did they say?
I didn't see the white flag, no.
Did they indicate if they'd seen any suspicious activity?
The first ship said they're not afraid of any piracy or anything like that. They don't get bothered by it. But smuggling, they said they don't have any idea about what's going on, and they weren't really forthcoming and talking about that subject when Master Mufti talked about it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. Everything else we'll put into the after action report.
All right. Good. Okay. Good work by the team.
All right.
Absolutely.
Maybe instead of guarding or peacekeeping on land, you could compare this to peacekeeping at sea, making sure that a sailor from Indonesia can take his vessel, or Singapore can take his merchant vessel and be confident that his cargo will get to Dubai, and from Dubai it will get to the European communities, from European communities to North America.
Protector is our AOR, our auxiliary oil replenishment vessel, AOR, and their job is to provide all of the support capability. The ship also has a boarding party. It has warfighting capability, so we'll use it in a much broader role than simply as a support vessel. So it'll go around, it'll deliver fuel, it'll deliver rations, but when it's not doing that role, it'll also be patrolling areas and contributing to maritime stability.
Yeah, it's down to we'll do the approach op. Same process as this morning. Yeah. Must have been a really good job.
3 personnel, 1 person just came out of the after house.
What speed is he tracking at? We look like we're closing.
6.5.
Yeah, let's drop our speed down there. So watch, come on. I said parallel course and speed. Do we pass the name back into ops?
Got the Dow now tracking at 136.
Yeah, agree visually, us the watch, step over to 135.
Where's 135?
We're just running his name right now, we've got it. So we'll run that through the database. Once I get a sense of if I get some info from the database, I'll call you on the radio and give you the update. It's whether or not he's been picked up before. I mean, they seem completely indifferent. There was one guy on the upper deck sort of scrubbing it, and now he's gone. So. Pass the watch. Come over a bit. For rules of engagement, boarding party rules of engagement will be in effect should it transform into a boarding. For the approach op, self-defense remains in effect. There's been no marks or signs of any hostile intent or hostile act whatsoever from this vessel. So remain safe, conduct the approach op hail, and return to mother unless one of the tripwires are hit. Any questions? Roger, carry on.
Boarding party, attention! Turning right, go! Out!
Alpha 1, this is Father, affirmative. Okay, pass to ops that they've been given permission to board and they're going on board.
We've basically the coalition, as I've said before, is just here to try to help us provide maritime security for the region so you can carry on with your business. We appreciate your patience today. So I just would like to confirm your flag of registry. We noticed you weren't flying a flag today.
हमने देखा कि आपके पास कोई झंडा नहीं था।
झंडा नहीं था।
आप कौन से देश से हैं?
हम इंडिया से।
इंडिया।
Okay.
India.
And it's normal practice for you to not fly a flag while underway.
आप जब समुद्र में जाते हैं, आप क्या इंडिया का झंडा पीछे नहीं लगाते?
इंडिया में हम समुद्र में नहीं लगाते हैं, उधर इंडिया में जाएगा, पोर्ट के अंदर लगाएगा।
हमेशा ऐसे ही करते हैं?
इंडिया के सरहद में जाएगा, लगाएगा।
Okay, when he gets closer to India, that's when he'll display the flag. But normally on the ocean, wide ocean, he doesn't have the flag on.
And your normal cargo is?
आप कौन सा माल लेके जाते हैं?
किधर से?
ना
सामान से लाता है चारकुल।
क्या? कोला?
कोयला लाता है। दुबई से चावल, शक्कर लेके जाता है सामान।
Coal, rice or sugar from Somalia to Dubai. He takes coal from Somalia and rice and sugar from Dubai. Yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of any human smuggling in the region at all?
इधर कोई आपको कुछ सुना, कोई बंदा, कोई शिप गलत माल लेके जाता है, जैसे आदमी को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह?
हम नहीं देखा है, नहीं सुना है किधर।
नहीं सुना? No, he's never heard of it and never seen it.
Okay. have you noticed any piracy in the area? Any problems recently?
कोई बंदे दिखे, कोई किश्ती जो आपकी किश्ती चोरी करने आए, ऐसा कोई बंदा दिखा इधर?
हम नहीं देखा है बंदा, हम देखेगा
कुछ
तो
चोरी करने वाला
नहीं देखा है।
नहीं, कभी नहीं हुआ?
नहीं हुआ।
No, he's never seen that.
Okay, so you've never encountered any yourself?
आपको इधर आपको कोई मुश्किल तो नहीं आई?
अभी कोई मुश्किल नहीं, कोई मुश्किल नहीं।
And you don't know anyone who's been a victim of piracy recently?
और आपका कोई दोस्त, कोई गांव वाला, कोई और किश्ती वाला जिसकी कोई चोरी हुई हो पानी पे?
अभी नहीं हुआ, किसका चोरी
किसी के नहीं सुना?
किसी के नहीं हुआ।
No, he's never heard of any of that.
Okay. So we thank you for your patience while we get a better feel for what's going on in the region. We're not going to delay you anymore. We'll disembark our team and carry on and wish you the best in your voyage.
Okay, आपका बहुत शुक्रिया। हम चलेंगे और आपको जाने देंगे। बहुत अच्छे रोक लिया।
ओके, शुक्रिया।
और आप चलें। ठीक है? शुक्रिया जी।
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. ज़्यादा अभी 8 दिन लग जाएगा। सीरप है।
अच्छा, सीरप है।
सीरप है कोई।
It's going to take up 7 to 8 days now.
So a couple of days ago, told some other requests to return this time.
This is Hollywood. Roger.
Delivers that to the reason he's going back to India is because it's the end of the season for him.
Monsoon season again.
On his way home to shut her down for 3 months. So similar story to
this explains why we're seeing a lot of dhows then in ballast because they're empty, they're heading home, and
he doesn't want to pay the insurance on it for 3 months, so he's going to go and shut it down, get rid of the crew.
Wow. Okay. And so that's good intel. Excellent.
So we've got a better picture as to what's going on and what is going on.
Visual signs. We're well suited to send right up to the front line, wherever that may be, to conduct the business of the mission. And if that's full-on naval combat, we're capable and trained to do that.
This morning's training we'll be conducting on board. We'll simulate multi-threat, above water, anti-surface, and maybe some anti-submarine warfare. To do that, I'll be acting as the games master. My role will be guiding the training using our training system within our combat control system to inject tracks, different types of threat, which the operators will have to respond to. We do this to keep our skill sets up. Even when we're deployed, we have to make sure that we're ready at all times. It took about a year to get our training to where we are now, but we have to make sure that we maintain that level of training even while we're deployed.
I stay in the operations room to fight the ship. My executive officer, Lieutenant Commander Aujla, is up here on the bridge, and he fulfills the command role to manage the repair of battle damage. And we take care of casualties, we coordinate all that through him. He does that on my behalf.
Sir, set up one hostile MPA. In addition, sir, now two suspect aircraft to the west, bearing 284, strength 2, 118 miles, sir, issuing a warning 1, and then issuing warning 1 at 90 miles.
Got it, roger.
Crosswatch, copy.
Nav Crosswatch tactical signal, air threat warning yellow.
Recommend close within 50 nautical miles, issue warning 2. Stand by. Oral Captain, agree if inbound aircraft close to 50 miles, issue warning 2.
Oral, roger, Swick, copy.
Good copy, send back to AW.
Captain, sir, issued a warning 1 2 times, no response, sir. Holding warning until 50 miles.
Captain, roger, agree. Captain, roger, us on the watch, Captain. Us on the watch, bring the ship to action stations.
Aye, sir, action stations.
I, sir, recommend standing on flying stations. Bosun's mate, make the pipe, bring the ship to action stations. Action dress on the bridge. Ocelot has a con, action conning in effect.
I am. Action stations, action stations. Action stations, action stations. Action stations, action stations.
All right, Captain, sir, AW warfare priority is correct, issuing warning 2. Hostile aircraft now approaching from the west.
Captain, roger. Us on the watch, Captain.
Crosswatch, sir.
Inbound aircraft on a bearing of 280, 50 miles, assessed as a threat. Brief your lookouts. Lookout bearing 280.
Roger. Forward lookout. Now 50 miles.
Oral Swick. Oral, in response to first reading on warning 2, reissuing warning 2.
Oral, affirmative. Officer to watch, Oral. Get back to you. Second watch.
Hey, Churchill.
2.5 minutes, Galley. 2.5 minutes. Second reading.
Hostile eastern, bearing 282. Threat is vampire.
Also watch, Captain. Possible missile release bearing 280, 45 miles.
Come left 260, so watch big shot. Roger, left 260.
Also watch, Captain. What's the range of the swap boat? Watch for visual indication of inbound missile bearing 280.
Proceed with soft kill and hard kill.
Onboard approaching the port bow at 1 mile. Roger, small boat at 1 mile.
Oswald Captain, issue warning 1 on the small boat.
Yes, sir.
Now at 31 miles.
Oswald Captain, what's the range to the small boat?
1.5 miles, sir, and we have an RPG.
Confirm he fired RPG?
No, we just have an RPG visual. He has not fired yet.
Captain, roger.
Fire. 25 miles, closing.
Oswald Captain, if he shows hostile intent or commits a hostile act, take self-defensive action using 50 cal.
Aye, sir.
And also the Lodge Captain, when small boat closes to 1/2 mile, 1,000 yards, issue warning shots.
Aye, sir. Captain, sir, second officer watch.
Captain.
Small boat engaging with RPG. We are engaging with 50 cals.
Captain Roger, take self-defensive action.
Aye, sir.
Have fired an RPG. A ship's company, brace for shock. Ship's company, brace for shock. Ship's company, unbrace. Ship's company, unbrace. Conduct rapid survey.
Rapid survey out, rapid survey out.
It's cold.
Fire, fire, fire,
Fire! Cruise watch base number 1!
fire, fire, fire,
Fire in cruise watch number 3! Back away! Check 16 mess.
Checking 16 mess.
Doors cold. Clear. At the door! Checking the door! Hostile ESM bearing 281. Threat is a vampire. Recommend ASMD course 260.
Oswald Captain.
Sir.
Possible inbound missile range bearing 280, range 45 miles.
Aye, sir.
Pop up! Firing at 281.
Roger. Exo, sir. Starboard now, 45 miles left down.
Oro Captain, take inbound vampire bearing 280.
Aye, sir.
Base system, missile away.
15 seconds. Ship's company, brace for shock. Brace for shock. Ship's company, brace for shock.
Seconds there. Missile inbound.
A system kill.
We have a kill, sir. Slash 8229 with 1 timestamp.
Ship's company, unbrace. Ship's company, unbrace. Conduct rapid survey. Hold the zip up. Zip one, base gone up.
Hostile ESM, Feathers Vampire, bearing 282, recommended SMD course 260.
Copy, aircraft still in.
This is smoke! Opening the door! Opening the door! Track him up! Track him up! Sweep! Sweep!
Pop off bearing at 28218. Sounds there.
Oro Captain, take inbound Vampire, bearing 280.
Hi, sir.
A system, missile away.
30 seconds.
Oswald Captain, for exercise, come hard right. Open sea whiz.
A system kill. Sounds kill.
Splash the first one.
Splash the first missile, sir.
Captain Roger.
All positions and missiles inbound. Splash the first one. Stand by.
Splash one.
Second, Captain, sir, I missed the second missile. Taken.
Second missile has missed.
Excellent, sir.
Yes.
Copy, one missile.
Copy.
One missile missed.
Second missile still inbound.
Visual. Saws. Shoot. A system kill. Saws kill.
Splash the second missile with the gun.
Second missile has been splashed by guns. Aircraft continues to close.
Captain, sir, aircraft is still inbound now, bearing 289, 16 miles. This is FBA.
Captain Roger, take with gun.
Took your permission to take FBA, closing now 16 miles, 500 knots.
Captain, sir, we splashed one aircraft. One aircraft is still inbound now from the west.
Saws launch.
Taking with missile.
Launching one missile on 827.
A system miss. A system miss.
Launch another one.
Inbound FBA.
A system missile away.
Captain, sir, missed with the first missile, 8207, probably to do the maneuver. Launching another one on 8207. Circle over, straight to 182, 8207.
Take with the gun.
Still 4 miles, sir.
Captain Roger.
Saws. Shoot.
So, Captain, brace for shock.
Ship's company, unbrace. Unbrace, conduct rapid survey.
Sir, FBA 8207 still opening.
Nothing visual reported from the bridge, sir. Okay, Oro, so the last captain, that completes this training event.
What you witnessed was a simulated battle scenario which involved the whole ship, not just the operations team that were fighting the ship, but the command and control organization. All of these skills are perishable, so if you don't practice it periodically, you'll forget some basic thing that you should be doing when the real thing happens. My intention is to conduct an approach.
Small boat inspection team, close up.
Potential for danger is always there. We're always training just to make sure that we're always prepared for anything that might happen to us.
Small boat approaching my starboard bow. If you do not turn away immediately, I will be forced to defend myself.
Threat bearing green 30, engage!
Calgary is a major warship. Simply put, if we didn't have a warship this size with this kind of capability and the full range of capabilities, we wouldn't be able to influence the outcome of events in this region the way we do. From a defensive point of view of both this ship and other ships in our vicinity, we have anti-aircraft missiles, a very sophisticated point defense missile, the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile. We've got the ship's gun, 57 millimeter, which is it's primarily an air defense weapon, but can also be used in the surface mode. And if, for example, we were intending to conduct a boarding on a vessel, if necessary, we may conduct warning shots to indicate to that vessel that we mean business, and it's important that they heave to and receive our boarding party.
Calgary's role out here is to patrol. We do what Task Force 150 tells us to do. That might be to guard a body of water. It might be to conduct a patrol through a body of water. And what it is that we seek out vessels who are doing international trade, legitimate, that's fine. If it's not legitimate, and if it can be tied to an aspect of terrorism, we may go over there and question what they're doing.
Our primary mission here is counterterrorism. So we are conducting our patrol, and currently we're here in the North Arabian Sea, very close to the coast of Iran, because that is where a lot of the smuggling activity originates between Pakistan and Iran. And if these smuggling activities are taking place in support of terrorism, we are very much interested in preventing that sort of activity from taking place. The vessels that we were looking at, there were a small group of 5 of them with one larger one, which looked like a mothership for 4 other fishing dhows. They were just outside of Iranian territorial waters, which raises the pucker factor a little bit because obviously the operations that we conduct, we do in international waters, and we don't want to in any way impede the state. So notwithstanding the fact that it was Iran and close to an Iranian naval base, because they would likely take an interest in a coalition warship, we wanted to approach these vessels because we didn't have information about them, and we wanted to help them understand why it is that we're here and to see if they had observed anything unusual in the area.
So there's a vessel out there in international waters, legitimate or illegitimate, we don't know yet. But what we do is establish comms with that vessel. If we can speak to them in their language, they're already at comfort. So that skill is very important. Once we've established communications with them, we ask them if we can come over and visit and just talk to them.
Fishing vessel in position 25 degrees, 02.7 minutes north. 60 degrees, 15.2 minutes east. This is Coalition Warship 335 calling you channel 16, over.
Service report, call to man ready.
This is port control.
Very good. Try again.
Try again.
Fishing vessel in position 25 degrees, 02.7 minutes north. 60 degrees, 15.2 minutes east. This is Coalition Warship.
So we're switching different languages. We started the hail in English to see if we'd get a response. Now we're switching over to Arabic. And if we don't have any success with Arabic, then we'll switch over and try Farsi and Urdu and Hindi and see if he replies that way.
زنبوق هذا قوات التحالف تنادي على قناة 16 موقعك 25.02.7 شرق 6:15.2 شمال. هذا قوات التحالف تناديك على قناة 16. هل تسمعني؟ أجب. هذا قوات التحالف أولي لك اللون أبيض. هل تسمعني؟ أجب.
Small boat inspection team, does this one close up?
Starboard watch the boarding stations, starboard watch the boarding stations. Small boat inspection team, close up.
जहाज मच्छीला जहाज छोटे आपके लाइट आपका फ्लैश करते हैं आपको ये चिट्टी लाइट देख सकते हैं चैनल 16 में आपको बुलाता है
Basically, the contact of interest right now is off our bow. We've tracked him from a distance, tracked him solidly throughout. He's been maintaining basically a stationary position amongst a group of dhows. Suspect it's a fishing ground. Based on the positioning of the contact and the fact that it's a fishing dhow, says he's a good candidate for getting local knowledge and that kind of thing. A good candidate for approach ops. Our ROE for this is sufficient for self-defense. Main concern here, sir, is the nearness to territorial waters.
Yes.
We're maintaining our 2 nautical miles. All sensor search focusing on the northwest.
Northeast.
Northeast, yeah. Nothing further.
Okay. Intelligence?
There's no intelligence indicating any specific on these COIs.
Okay, boarding officer, and for your team in the boat, my intention is to get a little bit closer to the mothership of this 5 dhow small fishing fleet, watching very, very carefully for nets so that we don't interfere with anything that they're doing here. And if we do, I'll turn away, okay? But my intention is to conduct an approach, okay? As you get closer to the dhow, watch for any signs of hostility towards our presence, any concern about the approach of the boat, because I don't want to damage any of their equipment. Okay, we're trying to build rapport with these people and encourage an exchange of information for security purposes, all right? So we'll get in as close as we can, reasonably.
6 hours first. Grenade round magazine, load, be ready. MP5s with a 30 round magazine. Load. Okay, pull in. Start hydrating now. MP5s with a 30 round magazine. Load.
Potential for danger is always there, and we're always training just to make sure that we're always prepared for anything that might happen to us.
Double up. Start hydrating now.
Boarding party, attention! Stand at ease.
Okay, team, can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, here's the situation. We are about 1.8 miles outside of Iranian territorial waters. We've got a small fishing fleet of about 5 fishermen, including 1 mother vessel, and my initial intention was to conduct an approach op on the mothership. The problem is, all of us are being set towards Iranian territorial waters at about 1/2 to 3/4 of a knot. Okay, and with us being just 1.5 miles outside of territorial waters, I can't take the chance that you're going to be over there or perhaps even invited on board by the master, and then with the risk of being set
into Iranian territorial waters. So I'm going to suspend this approach op, all right? Sorry to bring you up to this point and then have to call it off, but we're simply too close to territorial waters. Good dress rehearsal, but we'll get a chance. All right, thank you.
Alpha wave, on the guardrail. MP5s, unload, prepare for inspection.
We conducted the preparations for the approach, and as I watched how the fleet of 5 vessels was being set by the ocean currents, after a few minutes it became obvious that because they were just 2 miles outside of Iranian territorial waters and being set to the northeast, that within about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the rate, we'd have been set inside Iranian territorial waters, which clearly I couldn't run that risk. So we got right up to the final stages of briefing the boarding party on the rules of engagement, which is all standard practice whenever we send the team away. And then I had to call it off because it was just going to be too close.
All right, just let's head back down, get the weapons secured, and go back to the daily routine.
Okay, let's go.
These ships are incredibly maneuverable, lots of power, and you know, when you consider the kinds of things that we could find ourselves involved with, you need that kind of capability. The ship is fast. They'll do over 30 knots. A lot of power. They'll turn quickly. They'll accelerate and decelerate quickly. You can get yourself both into trouble and out of trouble real quick.
Both engines, full speed ahead, set, sir. Very good.
Now to the launch captain, conduct a Williamson turn to starboard.
Aye, sir. Starboard 30.
Warfare fighting skills or seamanship skills are no different than many other occupations. The skills are perishable. The minute you rest, whether you're a professional athlete or a professional musician or a stock trader, once you stop doing your trade, that's when you become vulnerable. So that's why it's important for us to keep at the pointy end.
Starboard 10. Starboard 10.
All positions, captain. Possible threat, small boat, bearing green 5. Issue warning 1. Small boat. Left 290.
Steer 290.
Steer 290.
Sailboat on my starboard bow. This is Coalition Warship 335. You are approaching my security zone and your intentions are not known. Turn away immediately.
Right 293.
Steer 293.
Steer 293. Issue warning 2. Now we're shooting 1 and 2. W. 430. Right 295. Steer 295. 295. Issue warning 3.
Small boat approaching my starboard bow. This is Coalition Warship 335. If you do not turn away immediately, I will be forced to defend myself. This is your final warning.
WO Captain.
WO, sir.
Red bearing green 20, warning shots, fire.
WO GP1 bearing green 20, warning shots, fire. Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
WO Captain, red bearing green 30, engage.
GP1, GP3, threat bearing green 30, engage.
Green 30, engage. Ceasefire.
All positions, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
Ceasefire, sir. From the captain. Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
You don't stop firing until I say ceasefire.
Yes, sir.
All right? Not just a burst and then stop. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to reset.
GP1, threat bearing green 20, warning shots, fire. Ceasefire. All positions, threat bearing green 50, engage. GP1 out of ammo.
Ceasefire!
Okay, so we're going to 7-mess?
7-mess it is, XO.
Alrighty. So what we have here is just a typical mess on Calgary. What it is about, how many people are in here tonight?
12 people.
12 people reside in this space here. And I guess the biggest thing about a warship is yourself or personal space is very limited. And so this is where they come when they're not doing their jobs or eating. And we've got a little settee area here where the guys may have a TV, video games, be able to read. And other than that, the other thing that's important to note is just the amount of space that people have to keep their stuff. All right, so what we do on a long deployment is get some extra little containers for guys to put their personal amenities in. Just try to make it as comfortable as we can for the 6-month deployment. Okay, so what we got here is the Master Seaman and Below mess of HMCS Calgary. This is where it's equivalent of the wardroom for the officers and the corral for the chief and POs. But when they're not on watch, they can come down here and hang out, watch movies, play video games, and obviously this is where they also take their meals. So this is where the chief and petty officers hang out when they're not on watch, very similar to the wardroom for the officers and the Corvette Club for the Master Seaman and Below. So again, the setup is they can take meals on one side of it, and then they can draw the curtain and watch movies and play video games. Probably two of our most experts at the video games are right here, Chief Haldeman and Chief Slater. It's very surprising that they're actually here because normally they work so hard that you wouldn't find them in here. After you've done your work for the day, you can come down here and try to get some normalcy, just like what everybody else does at home. Come after work, have some supper, maybe watch TV for a little bit before you go to bed, and that's what's done here. Okay, next we'll go into my cabin. And this is similar to most of the officer cabins. And this space here is only myself, but I use it as both my living space and my office, unlike the coxswain, who has his own office and a much larger cabin. Not that I'm bitter or anything, but you know, I do a lot more work than the coxswain does, but that's okay. So basically a desk, lots of storage space in and around. This flips down and becomes your bunk, and this is where I sleep. And you know, I didn't badmouth the coxswain, but he did get me a TV installed, and there's a CD player, or sorry, a DVD player as well. So not too bad. Again, the theme there is the space on the ship is limited. Here I'm very fortunate actually to have a lot of storage space, and this is where I come to have my alone time. But the policy that I have is that my door is always open for anybody on the crew if they have any kind of concerns. 24/7, knock on the door, and we'll go from there. One of the things you'll notice is some of the lights are off, and then what we do that is so that it instills into people the need to keep the ship cool. So the temperatures outside being anywhere from about 35 to 45 degrees Celsius, what it does is just remind people to sort of keep the lights off and keep the doors and hatches leading to the upper deck closed. So what we have here is the galley for Calgary. Obviously all the meals are prepared here for the 240 people that we have on board. At least 3 meals a day, normally a 4th meal. And so this is where the guys come on the steam line, pick up their food, but this is where all the food is prepared and laid out. Along with all the meals, there's also the desserts, the breads, the bakery. That's this section right here. Oh wow, look at that.
I was Army for a while, but always base. This is my first Navy posting. I actually like the Navy better than I like the Army. Probably get shot for saying that, but so far, yeah, it's not going too bad. Apart from being seasick when the waves get kind of rough, other than that, it's not too bad. Work-wise, yes, we put in a lot of long hours. Being a Navy cook, many long hours are spent in the galley. But I like the hands-on. Being the rank that I am, a sergeant normally is doing paperwork. I like the fact that I can come in here and prepare salads and have a little bit more of a hands-on. A lot of the challenges are you have to brace yourself when you're working. You have to make sure everything is secure. If you leave a pot just laying around on the counter like this, you're going to lose it because it's going to fly off.
Space is at a premium. And so we do is we put the physical equipment whenever we can, wherever we can, bicycles, treadmills, weights, so that the crew has regular access to gym equipment and can stay fit. Working on the upper decks is also very popular. On Calgary we run a sports period once a day, and we get a large majority of the ship company participating in that. But the costs in a lot of the ship's company, every day is a sign-up sheet, and it's a good way to stay in shape while we're deployed. Okay, where we are right now is on the bridge of HMCS Calgary, and in most basic terms, this is where the ship is driven from. Now, the captain isn't always on the bridge, so he has his representative, which is currently the officer of the watch, who is Lieutenant Mitchell, who is also our navigating officer. So he executes the ship's program, which is getting the ship from point A to point B. He has a team that helps him out. He's got a second officer of the watch, which is Sub-Lieutenant Turner there, and between the two of them, they're responsible for the navigation and the safe keeping of the ship. Assisting him over there is the helmsman and the throttleman, and we'll go take a closer look and see how they do their job. Now you have this vision of a big wheel on a ship, but actually the wheel of the frigate is just this small little helm, and the officer of the watch and the second officer of the watch they give him a course to steer, and he controls the helm to achieve the desired course. So either turning the steering wheel to the left or to the right and steadying it up on a course. Along with the steering portion of it, you also have the propulsion portion of it. It's two gas turbines, which is what you would find on a DC-10. It's a marine version of that, so imagine your ship with two aircraft engines, and the officer of the watch, the second officer of the watch, will say what speed they require, and it's just a matter of pushing these joysticks, and then the engineering officer of the watch makes the plant respond to that order, and we can go anywhere from full speed astern to full speed ahead, which equates approximately to 15 knots astern to about 30 knots ahead.
And a few CAs. I am the small arms keeper on board, and primarily my job is to maintain the weapons on board and make sure that they're always locked up here. As you can see, you have an assortment of weapons here. You have the 9mm SIG Sauer. Right here you have the MP5, primarily used by the boarding party. In this cabinet here, you have the shotgun, primarily used by the boarding party. And you also have the C7 in the opposite cabinet over here. Your biggest guns are the 50 cal right here. As you can see, it's physically bigger. The rounds are much bigger as well. This is a dummy round right here. This is the size of a 50 cal round. Okay. 6-hour 9mm, much smaller rounds. Shotguns, you know, it's about, we use a slug on board, so about that size. Makes a nice hole. Shotgun is actually very powerful. As well as the C9, takes 5.56mm, but it's rapid fire. That's a very powerful weapon, as well as the MP5. Not quite as fast, but it's good for cover fire. All the rounds are accounted for, all the weapons are accounted for, but they have to be kept locked up. If there was ever a round to be fired off accidentally, it has to be logged, and everything is accounted for. The training this afternoon will be for the Force Protection Watch. As we come alongside into Muscat, we need to have our upper deck sentries and our access point sentries. So before we go into a port, we like to have them shoot. Make sure that they're still familiar with the weapon. It's an ongoing familiarity with the weapon that we're trying to instill here. Weapon proficiency.
Make sure you wait until you're cleared by range staff before you try to fire the weapon. Clear. Once you're clear, let the action go forward. Okay, dry fire the weapon, and then put the weapon down on deck. Keep one in your hand, put the other one in your pocket. Then don't forget that magazine low. Expect that, but do not start the action. Wait for further instruction.
You're the access point sentry. Okay, beautiful sunny afternoon. We're parked downtown in the tourist area. Lots of people walking back and forth, okay? A man comes up to you, speaks very good English, starts just chatting with you. He has relatives who live in Vancouver, okay? So you're being nice and polite, giving him information about the ship. All of a sudden you see something that doesn't look quite right. He's wearing a long trench coat on a hot day like this. He keeps on talking to you. All of a sudden he unbuttons the trench coat. You see sticks of dynamite wrapped around him, reaches into a pocket, pulls out a remote detonator. What do you do?
Fireground magazine, load, access, inspect, insert, don't cock the weapon.
Starts running towards the crowd. He's got his hand in his pockets. What would you do? Okay, pulls out his hand. He pulls his hand out of his pocket. He's got a knife in his hand. What would you do? Excellent, okay? You see him lunge towards one of your shipmates, trying to stab him. What would you do? Remember, guys, let everybody else on the ship know there's a man here standing with a gun. What would you do? Security alert, right?
Call the port watch. Call the port watch. Hands to breakfast.
Morning, Calgary Operations Officer with a quick sit rep for today. We find ourselves 50 nautical miles south of Pakistan, continuing our search for any illicit activity in the area. Today is a very busy day, so make sure you take a good look at the flex and are familiar with it.
A lot of the guys on board are standing what we call a 1 and 2 watch rotation, whether they're on watch for 5 hours at one time, off for 5 hours, back on again for 7, then off for 7. And then in between their off time, they're eating, working out. So really, you're getting maybe about 8 hours off per day at any one given time. It's a pretty busy lifestyle, and then if there's emergencies in between, it could be a whole ship function that everybody has to turn to for.
And one more thing today, today is Tim Hortons Day. You could get your Tim Hortons down in the steam line, and they'll be by donation. Happy Father's Day, Calgary.
We really do miss the kinds of things that you would have at home, normal life, you know, Christmas, birthdays, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and whenever we have a celebration like this, we like to you know, raise the profile of the event on board and make sure that we acknowledge the people who are fathers. We do the same thing for Mother's Day or any other event like that.
Today is Father's Day, and I have 65 fathers on board. And I have the gambit. I have one grandfather, and I have one father who's just barely a week. And it's a difficult time. For us right now, Calgary is a family, is the way I would describe it. 237 people, 12 time zones away from our family, and currently deployed on an operation.
There's milestones that you miss all the time while in the Navy. Some people deal with it differently. Most people, however, fully understand just the nature of what we do. Being away from home, being away from our families, being away from our children. It is harder at times. Most people, it seems though, have a good group of people that they can always talk to if they are having difficulties dealing with certain situations, whether it be birthdays or a day like today, it's Father's Day. And we do have 3 brand new fathers on board that have had children since we sailed.
Port GT, sir?
PD.
PDs. Well, I'm a new father.
and my son's name is Nicholas. Just newborn. He was born on just 6 days ago, and he's 8 pounds 2 ounces. So far, everybody's seen photos of my kid, but me. Every single minute of every day, like there's not a moment that I'm not thinking of them. And sometimes it gets pretty stressful, but I'm able to handle it and deal with it in a positive manner.
I spent 3 good days with my son, my other son as well, Maxim, who's 2 years now. So it was a beautiful time, and met the ship in Croatia. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. This is a beautiful picture of my wife Krista and my son Gabriel. Just received it a couple of weeks ago. My wife sent it there on the email. So once I just put it right on top of my my bed there. So before I go to bed, I have a look. This is my oldest son Maxim, and Gabriel holding his little brother. Can't wait to be home and spend more time with them, but I need to be here too, so I gotta do my job, and that's it. Your mindset's gotta be, switch on. You gotta do a job, and hopefully those 6 months gonna go fast.
About 4 days ago, I had a little baby girl, Alyssa, 8 pounds 1 ounce, a big girl. My wife delivered her at the Victoria General Hospital back in Victoria, BC. She's a very beautiful little girl. I've seen a picture on the internet, but no big pictures yet. So it's very hard. I must say I would rather be home than be on this deployment, but we have a job to do here. It requires me to be here. I'm one of 2 people on board that can do the job that I do, so it's not like I can opt out of the deployment like a lot of other trades on board the ship. On Father's Day, it's hard, especially now that I have a new daughter. But it's like any other holiday. You're out here on a warship instead of being home and enjoying the holidays, so it's like any other. Maybe especially difficult because I have a new daughter, 4 days old, but we'll get through it.
We've gone through some difficult times over the last year and a half. Leading up to this point, but I'm always impressed by the resilience and enthusiasm, the team focus. It's great. It's a challenge for guys like me who are in the leadership position to stay out in front of them, but no, great bunch of people.
लाइट आपका फ्लैश करते हैं, आपको जो चिट्टी लाइट देख सकते हैं, चैनल 16 में आपको बुलाता है.
We don't wear a blue beret anymore, but we're out here now. Still, I would say, in a sense, keeping the peace. I have 2 daughters, and I would much rather be with them. But I know that what I do is important, and I hope that what I am doing, and just with all the other fathers here, will make some small difference in some small way, so that when they grow up, maybe life will be a little bit better for them. But I'm no different than any other father, even in this region here. And that's what I try to tell the sailors on board here. They're fathers too, and they're trying to do what we're trying to do, and that's provide a better life for their children.
हम लेगा नहीं सब दिखाएगा.
Action stations, action stations.
Ship's company and blades for shock.
We have a casualty in the forward foam room.
I looked at the chart. He was very much in what are known as the pirate-infested waters.
Came across a vessel this morning, first light, that we saw that was in distress. They were waving a red flag indicating that they needed to communicate with us. So right away we decided to send our boarding party doing an approach operation, which is consisting of sending a boat with our naval boarding party and assessing with a translator and bark, assessing their need or their assistance.
We have a drifting dhow not responding to VHF hails. Right now they're flying a red flag, which generally indicates some distress. All right, they've been drifting for a while. We've been observing them. Our primary mission will be to determine the nature of their distress, see if we can initially assist them, and then carry on gathering any information we can about that dhow in standard procedures for approach ops.
Bloom, heads up.
when we started towards the boat, I thought it doesn't quite look right. I looked at the chart, I looked at the major shipping routes. He was very much in what are known as the pirate-infested waters, and I turned to the boarding officer and said, "You're going to do an approach op here, but be very prepared to go into a rescue because his boat is drifting, it's not underway, and it's not in a part of the ocean where it looked like he was fishing or anything like that."
As soon as they got there, it became apparent that the dhow had been drifting for 4 days. They were requiring mechanical assistance. Their engine had failed, their transmission had failed, and they required assistance to repair the transmission or a tow back to port.
Have you been doing this a long time, transporting cargo, fish cargo?
Yes.
Like how long?
4 years.
4 years. We're just trying to provide, you know, a secure environment for you to do your business, etc. Has he been? So he said he doesn't fish at all. You don't fish at all.
He say I don't fishing, but I buy from Bosasa and I sell to Compilation.
And the fish is popular in Yemen, and that's why you transport it to Yemen?
He say yes.
Does he ever have trouble, like in Yemen, offloading his cargo, or he's been doing it long enough it's smooth?
He say no.
No, it's good?
He say, just I go over there and I sell my fish and I come back, he say.
And is this the usual crew that he uses? Like these are friends or?
He say mostly they change their schedule. Some of them they go to their family, some of them they come over here.
Okay, so we're gonna bring a couple more people on board. One of them's gonna be a medic to take care of your sick guy. And then we're gonna have another guy come up and he's gonna look in case we have to tow your ship. He's gonna make sure that we have somewhere to tow it. Okay?
It hurts him anywhere I touch on his spine.
Okay.
Can't feel anything in his feet.
Okay.
Limited feeling in his legs. His blood pressure, and that's fine. And he has malaria.
Mother, this is Alpha 1, over. Mother, this is Alpha 1. The engineering crew on board assessing the engine situation, as well as the Papa Alpha on board assessing the casualty, over. Yeah, good time. I'm all right right now, but what's that? No, I'm good for water. The sea state's killing me. I'm a little bit seasick. I may blow chunks soon, but what's that? Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'll just stand off. I'm just going to sit down for a bit. Mother, this is Alpha 1. It looks like it's problems with their transmission, and the only way to repair it would be to pull the transmission out. This would be a significant repair in the assessment of the engineers we have, indicating that towing is looks like our option, over. Looks like we're going to bring the vessel under tow. SEAL still wants us to continue to progress whatever work you can with the way ahead. Don't pull the tranny, or is that the only option?
Yeah, that's where we're at now. That's where we're at.
Okay, I'll pass that back, but we're going to bring it under tow. So we'll just stand by while they set up for that, okay? Mother, this is Alpha 1. Further conversation with the Alpha 4 has indicated that the only option right now is to pull the transmission, and that's their way ahead, over. And then put the port helm on as well, and 5 reps just to give it a little bit.
Head revolutions, 0.
Okay, Alpha 4? Yeah. Can you give me a rough estimate, like super guesstimate, as to what it would take to pull the transmission?
It would probably take us a good 12 hours.
12 hours. Mother, this is Alpha 1, the ETR, just to repair the transmission, barring the fact that we don't actually have the parts on board, would be approximately 12 hours. But Alpha 4 has indicated, due to the make and model of the transmission, that we don't have the required parts on board, over. Mother, this is Alpha 1. We're ready to receive for towing, over. Yeah, I need to change out. Yeah, I just emptied out, so.
I think the best bet would be to
have these use the ribs to pull us over there. I'll need those life jackets on here. So because there's a potential that something bad could happen here, right? When we start towing this thing.
This is quarterdeck. Dow is responding nicely. You can slowly increase speed. Confirm Tango Tango, you happy with that? Quarterdeck, copy.
And quarterdeck, we now have 2 knots rung on.
Copy. Dow is steady at 190 yards astern, over. The boat appeared to be in a good seaworthy condition, except for the engine. It appears they were maybe ferrying people from town to town in northern Somalia, since it appears that the road system is not very good. So they had departed a few days ago. We understood that more than at least 4 days that they've been here at sea. Uncertain when they broke down. But they're going only 80 miles away from here, so we decided to give them a tow and get them to their next port of call in order to get them on their way. I think we had a good response. It always takes a bit of time to get organized, to make sure that the vessel is capable of being towed. That's a serious concern for us. So we provided life jacket in case the strain on the hawser would be too much, and in case we damage the boat. At this point, everything appears to be stable, and we have quite a few more hours to tow this vessel in order to get them home. But towing is always a slow evolution, and it always takes time to tow a vessel properly.
I'm very confident. The crew, through their actions, saved 14 people who had just had an unfortunate experience at sea. And in this part of the world, there's not a lot of coast guards, there's not aircraft doing patrols, which you'll get off the coast of Canada and the United States or Europe. So it really was a meaningful day to save the lives, and it was 10 fishermen and 5 passengers that he was giving a ride to. And they just had very bad misfortune to have their engine, but then great fortune to have us come along and provide aid and tow them back to port.
Down below, I'll send a lift down. I want. Okay, so this is where the supply techs hang out. This is 6 stores. This is a general area. It encompasses 3 different storerooms, 6, 9, and 11. Supply techs are basically the backbone of the Navy. Well, it'd be disputable in many other trades, but we provide food, fuel, parts, ammunition. We're the ones that control it. We're the warehousemen. Basically in 6 stores is all the small commodities we store. Protector has to be self-sufficient on its own, and we're also an auxiliary oiler replenisher, and we look after the fleet with fuel, food, worldwide cargo delivery. Basically, for line items, we carry about 14,000 line items at a roughly a dollar value, $150 million worth of stores on board. We can carry upwards of 100 tons of food and roughly 500 tons worth of cargo. Okay, we're now at 9 stores. This is designated our air stores. One Protector has the capability of embarking 3 helicopters. So in here, we in our Vidmar cabinets, we store all the requirements for the air debt. Basically now we're using it as a consolidation area. All our stores come down into 9 stores, and as we do our receipts, we bring them back up to 6 to do our receipts. They've got 8 tri-walls there, or 9, 10 tri-walls of consumables from our offload project. And we also store CBRN equipment down here, and any packaging materials and computer paper, photocopy paper for the entire ship's company. Also, we have our radiation locker over there for all our CBRN equipment. CBRN is chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear protection. Down here in 10 stores, we store a lot of parts required to repair the ship's fitted equipment. All these parts down here are in support of our ship. They're medium to large items, right? As 6 stores with smaller items. The tanker is a unique ship where we bring stores on for other ships, and we generally store them in our warehouses. We use our space to the maximum ability. So sometimes our warehouses are constantly changing shapes and where we store our location of items. Welcome to the lowest portion part of the ship. This is 11 stores. You're roughly about 40 feet below water. Right, there's a double keel, double hull, so on the other, about 6 inches after that, you're open ocean. 11 stores, and all of our storerooms, we like to affectionately call it Depth Central. We have an ammunition bag in front of us. We have fuel tanks on the port starboard side, fuel tanks on the port side, and fuel tanks aft. So we basically work in the best part on board ship. That's why we like to call it Depth Central. Typically down here are some of our bigger items, stuff that doesn't move as frequently, pumps, motors, any large items. We store down in 11 stores, and it just best utilizes the space.
Bring up all this stuff you can carry right now, and myself and the other guys don't overload yourselves. We'll bring up the rest. We're going to leave the weapons until the final time, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
What we're doing right now is we're setting up for a proficiency shoot. Prior to coming alongside and standing at duty watch, you must fire and prove that you are still capable of using a weapon.
Okay, so put the actions on to the rear. give them all a good light oiling, right on the metal surfaces.
We were loading up the mags, pre-firing, cleaning, just to make sure there's no other debris that got in the barrels from the last shoot. We call the officer of the watch, and we get a range clear, so we will be firing from our port side because we have nothing within 15 miles or less upon our ship right now.
The first ship's going to consist of a 5-round rapid. So when I tell you to, when I say threat, I want to hear a verbal stop, get back, okay? Stop where you are. Okay, when I say threat for the second time, I want you to come up on aim, cock your weapon, forward assist, and I want you to fire 5 rounds into the ocean. Everybody got that? The 10-round magazine, load! On the line, threat! Stop! Threat! Threat! Come down off aim on safety. Yeah, there you go, right? Now forward assist. Real good. You're fully automatic. Okay, make sure you got a good, firm footing, okay? Just stand behind them with your hand there just in case they want to come back. You want to lead? On the line! Threat! On safety! On the line, clear for inspection! Wait for my line staff to come around and clear! Once you've been cleared, hit the boom catch, forward assist, dry fire your weapon, close your dust cover. And place your weapon on the deck. Clear.
Pieces coming out are hot, so
Okay, these are pretty slippery because they're oiled and they're sweating a little bit, okay? When I give you the load, you'll insert the magazine, give it a tap, put it in your holster. Okay, when you come up on aim, I'll give you drug and body armor, threat, you'll pull it out, cock it, dry fire. Everybody know what drug and body armor is? Okay, it's 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. So I'll say threat, you come up, cock it, bang, bang, bang. Okay, come down off on aim, decock your weapon, holster it. Pretty easy. If you're in the middle of a firefight and you go and nothing happens, this is what we want to see. Grab your spare magazine, keep your weapon up, because he probably doesn't see her slide to the rear. Once you have your other magazine and you inspect it in your hand, drop the other one out, put the other one in, hit the slide catch, and continue firing. Good. On the line, right! Drug and body armor, right! Peacock, holster your weapon.
Did I hit the target?
Whenever you put your weapon in your holster, always have your thumb on the hammer.
Okay. I can't get it back. I can't get it.
There you go.
Holster it?
With your weapon in your holster.
Rugged body armor! Run!
Okay. Keep whipping up. Mag. Release your mag. There you go. Again. Decock your weapon.
No, slide catch. Net fire? Okay.
Okay, on the line, clear for inspection. Move your magazine. Select your action once, twice, 3 times, walk it to the rear. There, once you get clear, hit your slide catch, decock your weapon, holster your weapon.
I'm out. So, proof.
There you go. You got him. Clear.
I like it, it's fun. Hopefully I don't have to use it for the real measures that it's used for, but it's fun to shoot at the waves.
Established wheel, sir.
The way we run a training day is the ship's company knows that something is going to happen during that day, but they're, other than the planners, the organizers, and the game master for the day, they don't really know what is going to happen. So it could be anything. It could be a fire, it could be a flood, we could have a man overboard, helicopter crash. So there's a whole host of things that could happen that all the teams on the ship need to be prepared for, but they certainly didn't know the specifics of when or what would happen in the scenario. Protector has returned to our favorite training area, Straits of Molokai, and we're going to do. We're already starting a transit through the Straits of Molokai, and we're heading to an important mission. The Molokai Liberation Army has vowed in the past to prevent warships transiting through what they claim to be their straits. New reports indicate that the MLA have acquired some Charlie 802 shore-launched missiles, potentially up to 4. There's no threat of a small boat attack today.
As you see on satellite picture, there's not much mid or low level cloud in the area, mostly high level cirrus, so it's a good day.
Next slide. Okay, safety firing arcs for Starbuck, 1,500 feet elevation.
We've had low detection, as you know, with the dhows, only about 6 to 7 miles on radar. So when we do these sea-whiz firings today, it's critical that we do an excellent visual lookout. That has without a doubt been one of our best sources for detection. I don't want any inadvertent firings with a contact in the range that no one found because they relied too much on radar. So very good visual lookout for sea-whiz firings is required.
Yes, sir. We just got that tip information that indicates that the Molokai Liberation Army has declared intent to use missiles to stop all
All warships are transiting the area, sir. I'm coming to air threat warning yellow based on tipper information, sir.
Roger, green.
Air threat warning yellow based on tipper from Mount MLA.
Watch, we have a missile site that's being activated to the north. We are now at air threat warning red. Oswatch will bring the ship to action stations.
Oswatch, roger. Close the mate. Bring the ship to action station, right, sir?
Action stations, action stations.
We're also bringing the pipe, bringing the ship to action stations.
Charlie Whiskey, we've got a Tanker 321 radar targeting us. Yeah, Capture Oral, ASMD course, Green 65 recommendation. You guys up here, I got information.
Swick. Chat closed up.
Swick, roger. ORS, Swick. ORS, closed up. Roger.
Pop up! 000, 55 miles, separating from land.
Oral. Roger, sir. ISS Charlie 802 by a speed and flight profile. Intend taking all resolved missiles closing protector.
Missile inbound, 5 minutes back, come to ASMD course.
Vampire 000, 45 miles, tracking south, speed very fast. Estimate 600 knots.
Confirmation missile inbound at 40 miles inbound.
Roger, 40 miles inbound. Confirm bearing.
000.
Roger.
Port bow.
So port bow, missile inbound now 40 miles. Stand by.
Vampire 000, 25 miles, tracking south, speed 600.
Swick, you have clearance to continue chaff firing. The personnel are clear of the danger area.
Swick, roger.
Vampire 000, 15 miles, tracking south, speed very fast. Rank 1. Vampire 000, 10 miles, closing fast. 9 miles.
Action! Chaps in action! Starboard, forward, launcher!
Chaff away! 8 miles.
Roger, chaff away.
Very good.
that's what they send you stuff on. But I'm always...
Missile 5 miles.
Roger, missile 5 miles. Should be
Brace for shock.
Brace for shock. Brace for shock. I have the missile visual on the port bow now. Brace for shock everywhere in the bridge.
Missile visible.
Ship's company is brace for shock. Missile 10,000 to weapon cal.
Weapons free, 50 cal.
3 miles.
Suez tracking.
Confirm Suez tracking.
Suez.
2 miles.
Target bearing 000.
Suez engaging.
Suez engaging.
Ocelot, Suez engaging.
Roger, Suez engaging. Suez firing now.
Assess kill.
Roger, affirmative. We have good visual. There's shrapnel. Bits flying into the ocean about 2 miles off the port bow.
Whiskey, this is Charlie Whiskey, assess protector splash to 1 Charlie 802. Break air threat remains red.
Just go through your equipment everywhere, check, make sure that everything is still functioning.
Check with the gun positions.
We're just doing a damage assessment on the bridge. Check for any damage. No visual signals or signs of any damage on the bridge or shrapnel.
Okay, all positions Oro. We just took the last Charlie 802 with the Suez. We are still being targeted by the Charlie 802 to the north. We'll remain on this this course to take them. All eyes down and looking. We just got another report that there's more tip information from ESM that we are continuing to be targeted. 502, that's your job to get down. Good work on the last one. Same work on this one. That is all.
Okay.
Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
Go.
All position command. Indication of the missile inbound, port bound 35 miles, 3 minutes to go.
And came back, they said it was a false alarm. False alarm. Massive LC. Stand down the attack team. Roger.
Ship's company, a brace for shock.
Brace for shock! Come on, shock! Brace for shock! On the balls of your feet! Feet underneath your head up! Back straight!
Forward to it, engage! Forward to it, shoot! Forward to it, cease firing!
Ship's company, on brace, Suez a kill.
Rapid survey!
Rapid survey out.
Sentinel.
You can imagine a fairly large missile flying at the ship, and even though you shoot it, all that mass continues, and the rocket fuel and all that continues to fly towards the ship, and likely would impact the ship. So that's also a pretty realistic scenario to take damage even though you've shot it down.
Fire in the forward room.
Okay, first aider. Just so you're aware, we have a casualty in the forward foam room. All right?
Okay, guys. Fire's in the forward foam room. There's an attack hose rigged on the port side from this station. You are to go to this hose, use it, attack the fire. Right here.
You sitting down this way?
Advance on the door! Advance on the door!
The reason we do it is to find areas of weakness or find areas that need improving. So overall, I would assess that as a satisfactory training evolution. The closing up time was a little bit slow, could have been a bit better. The alarm on the chaff launcher failed to operate, so they're going to investigate getting that repaired. There was a couple of communication difficulties, reports not being passed in as fast a manner as they should have been or were missed. But overall, I would have assessed we would have put the fires out, would have shot the missiles down, and would have suffered some damage. But yeah, the objective was training and to learn lessons, and I think those were learned, and they were shared by the teams to everyone on the ship. It's 35, 40 degrees out, so there's people that don't look forward to putting on the bunker gear and the firefighting gear. So yeah, but in the end, everyone realizes the value of doing the training, for sure.
We got the Ford Starbucks keys. I'm making electrics. I got the keys right here. Yep.
Priority is the small contact on the starboard bow.
Aye, sir. It's a thinking game. We're just not going to escalate the force. Hey, get back over there!
We do operate in a hazardous environment. Nobody wants to lose a member of their ship's company.
Watch the rescue station. Man overboard.
So right now the ship is closed up in Force Protection State Yellow. Force Protection State Yellow is just a way that we can close up. We can get extra personnel on the upper decks. We can close up some of our special teams. It gives us a more of a heightened alert status, a better capability, so we can respond to any potential small boat threat or another threat that might come against us when we're going through areas of our transit where we're more vulnerable as a warship.
Looks like it stopped again. The closest fishing vessel, we have another one at approximately red 30. See him about a hand's width and a half right of the nearer vessel.
Should we actually pick something up here? I've got my action alarm right here for the entire ship's company that can raise their awareness. I've also got my general broadcast here that I can use, and I'll pass the information through to the other members of the ship's company. So if we did get somebody that was closing and they weren't responding to any of our warnings we were passing, and we would pass warnings from flares to flashing light to even warning shots in front of the vessel to warn them away from us before we would actually engage the vessel. So everybody gets quite a few chances to do the right thing before we actually have to respond with any sort of deadly force.
Where? Head or stern? That's the green 40, and the other guy's almost past the head, right?
The other one's just flying on the starboard bow, sir.
Yeah. Okay. The priority is the small contact on the starboard bow.
Aye, sir.
Okay. What speed's he tracking at?
At a speed of
22. Okay, give me the visual bearings on him, please. See if he's continuing to draw left.
There's 167, continues to draw left, sir.
Yeah, he's going to pass ahead. Okay. Just give me 15 knots, please.
Set speed 15.
Let's just bring it in. Assessed non-threat?
Sea skirt. Now bears 154. Continues to draw left, now more rapid.
Yeah. Yeah. They always want to go ahead, right? I expected to see more fish around this area. Based on my assumptions, I was expecting.
Good morning, Iroquois! It's a beautiful Saturday morning out there right now. We got a few clouds, winds from the northwest, 10 to 15 knots. We're looking for a high today of 33 degrees Celsius. We're expecting the seas to stay well below a meter. Humidex today is 50 degrees Celsius, so keep the water to you and keep sunscreen on. Forward this evening into tomorrow morning.
Life on board the ship is turns into Groundhog Day. You just end up doing the same thing over and over and over again, broken up sporadically by the ports that you visit. And basically that's what we're looking for to get into. We try to get all of our training and everything out of the way beforehand. And we're just hoping to keep it routine. Get up, launch, do our flying, come back, land on, get the bird ready again for the next day flying, and just keep on doing that until it's time to go home.
Close cover. Gun position number 5, closed up at the load.
Capturing the glamour. Ooh.
Let's look at it from the family perspective.
I mean, I grew up in a family of 5, you know, and in winter months, if you're all closed up in the same house for days on end, you can get a bit of cabin fever. Well, you can imagine taking that and multiplying it by a factor of 100. You now have, you know, 300 people on board a ship for months on end. Okay, everybody needs their own space. There's not a lot of space on board the ship.
So here you want to be a master seaman of the day.
We know that it goes in a cycle. I have, you know, I'm in my 32nd year of the Navy, so I understand the cycle. I've been on ships when the morale has been high, when it's been low, and whether I can put my finger on what makes that happen, I can't. I can tell you it drops really, really quickly when it drops, and it takes a long time to bring it back. The morale on the Iroquois right now is good. You know, it was really high when we left, and it's good now.
You need to observe certain customs and etiquette on board the ship, or we'd all just be at each other's throats all the time. Closing doors and hatches behind you when you're proceeding through the ship, and make sure that the ship is able to maintain a cool environment. You know, people that walk through while they're closing doors behind them, you know, it's just like your mother yelling at you, you know, well, you're born in a barn, close the door. Well, it's the same thing on board a ship. One of the consequences for us are that the temperature could rise, you know, 10, 15, 20 degrees, and suddenly your cool environment that you had in your operational theater is now affecting half of your ship's company. One of the most important things when you're coming through, particularly as you know, as an officer in a mess that's not your own, you always take your hat off as a mark of respect for the personnel when you're coming through. Again, it's people's living rooms, and I know I'm going to get it for this afterwards because I just barged in here, and I know I'm going to have to pay for it at some point.
It's also important to have the crew verify us and say, you know, hey sir, how's it going? And but at the end of the day, we're getting from them maybe some morale dissatisfiers, or they might have a tough question why we did something a certain way, and it's more of an informal way of them getting the answers, and we get seen and we get to talk to them and see them in their living spaces and the spaces that they frequent throughout the ship.
We got Bumbleberry Perry here serving it up to him.
It's something that Captain Ryan does. He did I know he did it on another ship that he was on. He likes to do it, and we bring the ice cream out, the ice cream Sundays, and we do it on the Saturday, because Saturday's a bit of a, we don't really, every day is the same for us. Monday to Monday is the same. We really don't have weekends or evenings or anything like that. We're around the clock. So it's one way of bringing the weekend to the ship. And it's fun. We have a pipe that goes along with it, and usually we have the celebrity servers. Last night it was all of the senior officers, the heads of departments did it. The week before it was the chiefs. So it's a good thing for the crew to get there, and we'll scoop out their ice cream for them, and everybody seems to come and everybody seems to like it. And it's a fun thing that we do for the ship. Again, it's all that little bit for the morale of the ship.
Our biggest job on board a ship normally is anti-submarine warfare. That's not the biggest threat while we're here in the Arabian Sea. Our biggest job while we're here right now is developing the recognized maritime picture, which is RMP. So the ship is a fighting force all on its own, but with a helicopter they can launch us, we can go up higher, have a longer radar distance, and we're also move faster, so as soon as we launch we can turn their picture into a much larger picture.
Aircraft power. Power's in. Power coming on. We're going to go out and do some RMP. We've got no packs on board today. Op area. We'll clear out 50 nautical miles around Mum, and we'll get into that with the brief. Weather, it's hot, it's hazy, but clear enough, good enough for flying. No TAMs. We've got copies of if we end up going ashore.
From the beginning of the day up until the end, first thing that we'll do is there's concurrent activities going on at all time. The air crew will get up whenever their crew day is supposed to be starting. They'll go and they'll start getting the information. What are we going to be looking for? We'll get that from our shipborne air controller. We'll talk to him. We'll check our messages, see what's out there. We'll talk with the intelligence people.
On this deployment, basically, we're going to act as the eyes for the ship. So the ship can only see so far on its radar. So we'll go, we'll launch, we'll go ahead of the force or behind the force, wherever they want us to go, and basically tell them what we see.
Clear takeoff. All clear.
We fly around, we identify contacts, we pick them up on radar initially. The ship will tell us whether they need us to go and identify them further to confirm info. They have a lot of the info themselves already based on systems that they have on board. Usually they'll call us to send us to go identify a contact that they may not be picking up for one reason or another. We'll go identify it visually using binoculars or camera and pass on the info to the ship.
hours. 8-round magazines load and be ready.
Boarding party, we really have 3 missions here. The first mission is our primary mission, which is to board vessels and to verify flags and to verify the cargo. Our second mission is approach operations, which is basically to inform smaller vessels of our intentions, gather soft intelligence on potential piracy out there. And then our third mission is piracy operations. It could be a very dangerous job. We heavily rely on intelligence to help us out. We rely on the mothership with her heavy armament to intimidate whatever ships we're boarding. As well, we're armed ourselves. We're armed with MP5 and Sig Sauer weapons. We're armed with our training. We're armed with our ballistics vests. So we've got a lot of things on our side to minimize the potential injuries or threats that we may encounter. Ultimately, for Canadian ships, the boarding team is a secondary duty that we volunteer for. Albeit it's a very challenging secondary duty, and sometimes it can take over almost as a primary duty.
Okay, boarding team, fall in here. 2 ranks, quickly. Off the gravel way.
As part of a team mentality, we all keep the same rank of our ordinary seamen because we all are regarded as equals on the team, and that's part of it is to develop camaraderie because there are many types of ranks on the team. They range from ordinary seamen up to Lieutenant Navy.
Okay, let's go, guys. Okay, sound off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The point of today's exercise is to work on your levels of force. We got to bring the aggression up.
It's a thinking game. All right? You have to think. We're just not going to escalate the force. Think through what you're going to do. We've been practicing this for the last while. It's operational now. Once again, we're still in a practice mode right now, but it's all thinking.
Hey, who are you?
Step back, please, sirs.
Who are you?
Please move back. All of you, please step back.
Move back now. Move back. Who are you?
I'm with the Canadian boarding party.
Move back. What are you doing here?
I have security. UN has stated I'm allowed to be here. Now back up.
I came back 2 days later and it was gone.
When they come to the ship, we put together the team from all the people that have had that training, and the people that make up that team all have their own special skills as well that they bring to the table. We have engineers on the team, we have maritime surface officers on the team, ones that could actually take charge of a vessel if they had to. They have that requisite knowledge. We have electricians, all types of qualifications on this boarding team.
We want everyone to have the comfort level to realize that everyone has an equal voice on the team, which works wonders for us right now because it really brings the ordinary seaman out of their ordinary seaman rank, and they're thinking and they're reacting like smart, trained individuals.
What are you gonna do?
Touch your vessel, that's all.
Nothing.
What do you all do? What jobs do you do on board?
I don't say anything.
This is on the upper decks. Yeah, there's nothing up here, but what's down below?
Nothing.
Then move back into the shade and sit down in place.
Training is very important as part of the naval boarding party because when we board a vessel, there are so many variables and so many factors that we haven't accounted for that oftentimes when you board a vessel, you're going to forget a lot of things. If not for the training, you can fall back on something.
You gotta test them, but you don't gotta be so compliant that you're backing up all the time.
Roger. Okay.
All right?
See.
You know,
Here we go.
most people are not, especially, they're not gonna want you on their boat. They really don't care because what has the UN really done for them at any given time? Right?
Somali enough. Okay.
The scenario you're seeing right now is really probably the more extreme end of the spectrum with what we're training. And what we're having right now are crew members who are quite hostile. And we're trying to see whether that our boarding team members can establish a degree of control over these crew members when we board a vessel. We run through weapons drills, we run through procedural drills, we run through boarding scenarios over and over and over again so that it becomes almost second nature. So by the time we board a vessel, and if the stress level and the anxiety is elevated and people forget, they can always fall back on that training in order to board a vessel very effectively.
Step back!
What are you doing on our boat?
Don't worry about it, we'll tell you later.
I want to know now.
Step back!
Don't point at me.
Line up now. We'll get everything organized and we'll explain. Just line back!
Isn't it much easier if you just go home? Then you won't have to
Don't worry
explain
about it.
nothing.
Follow your teammate. Go back.
Right there, we're lined.
Back.
Yeah, we're lined.
Step back a few paces.
I want to know.
Since we've deployed in April, we've been doing this. We've been running through 2 scenarios a day. We train our team in physical fitness. We train our team in armed combat and weapons firing, and we run through drills like this every day as well.
Get back! You want to ask questions, ask me. Hey! Get back over there! Get back! Keep back.
All right, Helen. I'm telling you right now. Get off. Come on.
All right, you would have backed up. All right? This is what we're looking for. We're looking for realism, okay? What you believe the normal person would do in that situation. Sure, they can be aggressive, hostile, but when you start overwhelming them with force, like that, I'm sure they're going to start becoming a lot more compliant. Your voice, your presence is what's going to move them. Don't bunch up together. We had 2 people standing there within 2 feet of each other. Separate yourself. You're not as easy a target then if they do go to lunge. All right?
Demonstrating that you have the potential to use that force is often, you know, the thing that's going to save you in the end. So, so that's what we're practicing.
Your other one.
Okay, sir. Put him over there. Put him over there.
Where are you taking him?
Where's your crew? Down there, safe.
Nobody wants to lose a member of their ship's company. We do operate in a hazardous environment. There have been cases where people have fallen overboard, been swept overboard because of a wave in rough seas. Normally in rough seas we'll place the upper decks out of bounds, but there's times when we might be in an operational theater where we'll have to keep the upper decks in bounds to allow people to carry out critical maintenance on equipment.
You're gonna go?
Port watch to rescue station. Port watch to rescue station. Man overboard. Recovery by starboard Zodiac. Port watch to rescue station. Port watch to rescue station. Man overboard. Recovery by starboard Zodiac.
You've never been in the boat before, right? This is been in once. Make sure this is in between you and the darn ship as you're going down. Run, shoot.
Medical team, closed up.
Diver, make sure your lifeline comes out the side of your boat between you and the ship.
Done.
Now. Fast. Lower away handsomely. Let it out of the boat. Put it out of the boat. Fast.
Let's get that
Get it out.
line there.
Get it squared off. Fast.
Launch the Zodiac, launch the Zodiac.
Boom down.
Fast.
Fast. You want to come up? Yep. Is that boom? Right down.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't tell you to hook on. Hook on.
Reset the hook.
Come up. Move up. Guide the boat down onto the shot mat. When you slip that hook, make sure it doesn't fall on top of the casualty. Slip the hook.
Slip the hook.
Boom up.
Galley
Slew out. Fast on the crane. Get the lines clear. Galley. Don't pass no status to casualty over that. Up to the dock. What's the status of the casualty?
Casualties alive, breathing, conscious. Okay, let's get her put up. Make sure none of the straps are underneath. Grab on a piece. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, lift.
Stand by to receive.
And down. Okay. Make sure he's completely hooked up. Keep your knees underneath there so he can't fall back down. One here. Let's get the oxygen on. Okay, pick up. Here to lift, lift. Here to move, move.
Just give him a holler. That door pretty off the finger right there.
Movement in sick bay. Okay, let's get him on. Now, for exercise, we'd normally cut off all of his soup. If it was cold enough, we'd put the bear hugger on to rewarm him. We'd get a couple IVs started on him, which are also warmed up in the microwave. We're going to get his BP, his O2 saturations, and we're also going to hook up a 3 lead on him. This will give us all of our baselines that we need, and we'll just monitor airway, breathing, and circulation as is necessary.
Hey there, XO speaking.
And that is it. Great, thank you.
All right. Good response. People closed up in a timely fashion. That's what we need to see. We practiced through workups. This is the best one I've seen so far. Small things again. My diver, he's gone. I'll brief him after, but he's got to get that lifeline out between the ship and the boat. It's the small things that we got to practice more now. Stern fast closed up. The boat rope closed up. The boat coxswain was closed up. No time at all. We were ready to launch that boat in under a minute, which is good to see. But start thinking about the small things. People were quiet. Nobody was flapping their gums out here today.
You've got to get a hold of the bridge to give them the status of the casualty that's in there. If you can't raise them, we were close enough there, you could have told us, and we could have passed it up through the comm number to the status of the casualty, all right? And I know the doc was here on deck, but as soon as he knows the status of the casualty, the better he can start planning for what he's got to do. Any questions?
Good job, folks.
Yep.
Let's get this all secured, get Oscar back to top part, get ready for the next one.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Good job, O'Neill. Somebody want to make sure these PRCs make it back to the CCR?
Got it. See you later, fellas.
The standard for us to do that is within 5 minutes to be able to turn back around and have that person from the time they fall in the water to the time they're back in the boat, and then we get them recovered back and onto the ship. So I think today we did it in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. We've had better times than that. We've had worse times than that. And it's just a matter of practicing those teams all the time to maintain that proficiency, because when it happens in the dead of night, it's not the time to then start trying to remember how to do it properly.
3, 2, 1, go!
We have 5 meals. We do regular breakfast, lunch, and supper, and then we do an 11 o'clock meal, late night meal for the duty guys. And then we do a 3 o'clock a.m. breakfast for duty people that would regularly miss the meals for the day. It's about 1,200 meals a day. This is my first trip ever on a ship, so I didn't know what to expect, and I was seasick at the beginning, so that wasn't fun. But you know, now that I've kind of got my sea legs a little bit, it's a challenge, but it's fun. I need you to split up the turkey. We haven't sent any up top yet either, so split up the turkey and the cheeses. Okay. Give a little to him.
Yeah.
Send it up top, please.
Yeah.
You done with that shovel, Rob? Yeah. Can you just give that a rinse for me, please? Thank you. The kitchen's a kitchen, the galley's a galley. It's hard to get used to keeping your balance. That part, and you have to learn how to secure everything, because you don't think of that when your building doesn't move. But now you got to make sure everything doesn't move. Hi, what can I get for you?
We ask so much of them. Their day is repetitive. It's they have to work hard to create exciting meals and good meals for the crew, and the crew can be mean. And they can put on 10 meals in a row that are just fabulous, and then one bad meal or something that didn't go right for whatever reason, and the galley will hear about it from every second sailor that crosses through the galley lineup. You know, that sucked, that was no good, and that's hard on them. And oftentimes we don't realize that we maybe even take them a bit for granted.
They love to eat. These guys are hungry. They are out in that heat all day. They're working hard. They love to eat. There are always some that think they're chefs and want to fix everything, but for the most part, everybody's pretty happy with it.
I like to get down there often. I'll get down there and roll up my sleeves, as will some of the other chiefs and POs, and do the dishes with them, right? Just go down there and help them with the pots, because they're endlessly cleaning pots and cooking. So they are definitely the heartbeat of the ship, and if they're not happy, nobody's happy. So we try to keep them happy.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
we're about to do a RAS, which stands for Refueling at Sea. What happens is we'll come in alongside the tanker, we'll steady up in station. Once we're there, they will fire a gun line across to us. A probe comes across with all the hoses, goes into the bell back there. We begin pumping. That's basically all it is. All right, guys, listen up. Same thing as always, safety, guys. We're going to use the winch, so there's going to be a lot of strain. No one's going to be in here when the gun line's fired. Everyone good? Let's have a good rest. File up, take cover. Even and around. Even handsomely. We bring the span wire over, we hook the span wire up, we cut the lashings, and they put tension on it, which basically means the wire comes tight. Point forward, start pumping.